So last night, Sony gave us their state of play for August 2020. We got gameplay, we got announcements, and would you believe it, we got some trailers. But here is what the GamesRadar team enjoyed most from the stream.
I genuinely think that Crash Bandicoot 4 is going to be one of the best games of the year, and I know we've had The Last of Us 2 and we've got Cyberpunk still on the way, but hear me out. It's being developed by Toys for Bob, who killed it with the Spyro Reignited trilogy back in 2018, but they're adding so much more on top of that classic Crash formula for this canonical sequel. You can play as Neo Cortex now, and even Dingodile. There's new mirror modes, which add sort of this fresh aesthetic onto each new world and level. You can switch between modern and classic difficulty settings, and it genuinely looks stunning in terms of the vistas and the animation style. I actually played a build of it a few weeks ago, and it feels as good as you'd expect, with that sort of chunky, precise platforming that you'd expect from a Crash game, and the world design is really exciting in terms of not knowing what's going to be around the next corner. Obviously, Toys for Bob have a lot of questions to answer in terms of game length and DLC and stuff like that, but between this, Tony Hawk and Call of Duty, I think Activision has a really strong slate ahead of it for the rest of the year. Also, I just wanted to get that song stuck in your head because it's been stuck in mine all day.
Ooh, it's Bug Snacks. Ooh, talking about Bug Snacks. My favourite game from the most recent State of Play was, of course, Bug Snacks. It was one of the few PS5 games that was actually shown off, and in a world where games are all about killing, maiming, destroying things and generally being a nuisance, it's nice to have a game that's actually about bringing people back together and being friends. In Bug Snacks you have to do tasks for the various villagers and hopefully tempt them back to Bugsville by using a series of traps and other things at your disposal. It's got such a great, vibrant art style, and I just want to go around and meet all of the characters, do all of the things for them and make them happy. One of the best lines in the trailer was, "You seem to be pretty good at stuff and nobody hates you yet." And if that's not a life goal, then I don't know what is.
So, yes, we can't really talk about the State of Play last night without talking about Godfall. And yes, it was a very long segment. Let's be honest about that. It was 9 minutes of a 40-minute show, so it's almost a quarter of the show. Having said that, despite the fact it did sort of slow the momentum at the end, I'm still really intrigued by Godfall. I think that they went into a lot of detail about the combat, but it does sound really exciting, and it certainly offers plenty of potential when playing in a team to try out different things. There'll be a lot of games vying for our attention at the start of the next generation, especially with so many being available in backwards compatibility. So Godfall's going to need to do a lot to take our attention away from other live service games. On the display of last night, obviously it was a lot to take in, but there's a lot in there that's quite intriguing.
For me, it's got to be Hitman 3. I'm a huge fan of the series. Any chance to be that bold, barcoded man, I'm going to take it, especially if it's going to be in VR, which they've now announced. All 3 games are going to be come January 2021. It's the perfect game to be in VR. It fills me with so much excitement and also a little bit of nausea, because sometimes games where you get to walk around in VR make me feel a little bit sick. But I'm going to brave it just to be him, just to be Agent 47. My only concern with the whole VR thing is that sometimes games where, like Hitman, where you feel really cool when you get things right, sometimes the rhythm is really thrown off by VR, because obviously it's not just Agent 47's abilities and aim, it's your own shoddy abilities and shoddy aim. Like Super Hot, for example. I love that game and you feel so incredibly cool when you nail it, but when you don't nail it in VR and you're just throwing like buckets and guns with no bullets in it and missing, it really takes away from the cool factor. You just take your VR feeling like the failure that you are. It's not the escapism that it should be. They also mentioned that Agent 47 is going to be going through his most personal hit yet, and at the end of the trailer you could see Diana, who's the woman whose lovely British silky voice guides you through all of your missions up until this point. So maybe she is your final hit, maybe she's like the VIP that you need to go for. She's wearing a dress and she's at a party, which to me, you know, important person, wearing a dress at a party, Hitman's there, the odds aren't good. So the idea that he now has to take out, like the close of the trilogy is him taking out the woman who has been, you know, taking him through this whole experience. that'd be great. And if it doesn't happen and it's just some random person who he, you know, drinking buddy turns out he has, it's not gonna be as good. I'm just super curious to see how they're gonna close out the trilogy. Maybe this is Hitman's final romp. Maybe it's time for him to check out, because he's got a barcode on the back of his head.